Whitmore. I do a webcomic called Tasty Flesh. It's about strippers fighting a zombie apocalypse, which, I just took a couple of my favorite things and threw them in a blender, and that's what I ended up with. So I do freelance illustration, and you can see my work at martinwhitmore.com.
My turn. Hi, I'm Amber Bayless. I'm a student at A&M. I mostly just doodle in my notes in class nowadays. I used to do a lot more actual art. Now I just spend my time studying, staying up late, and doing archery.
She's dangerous.
Dead.
I'm Rocky Kelly. Paint a lot of fantasy art and the brighter kind of fairy stuff like that. A lot of times, accepted a World Fantasy a couple of times. Won an award at the World Fantasy Art Show once. And on the other side of my personality is Ashen Gray, which is I paint the darker fantasy, dark romanticism, gothic, all that type. So you got kind of the happy me and the sad me, and who never knows. But RockyKelly.com and AshenGray.com. Thank you.
You know what's scary about that is he talks about Ashen Gray in third person, like some other guy. Oh my God!
I hope you're all very adept at painting on air.
And this is, of course, our guest of honor.
I'm David Lee Anderson, and I'm sorry, but I'm from Oklahoma. And I've been down here many, many times to Texas. I go to ArmadilloCon almost every year, and I know that it's been since 1985 since I was here at AggieCon, and I don't know how that happened, except it may have had to do with the warrants and restraining orders that have luckily run out by now, so I'm back. I'm afraid that some of you weren't even born then, but that's good because you wouldn't remember what happened at AggieCon in 1985. Yes. 5 or 6. Yeah. Take that. Yeah. I said this last night and several raised their hands that they weren't born yet. Oh, yeah. I do science fiction and fantasy illustration, but primarily I think I specialize more in science fiction and NASA-type science art. I'm the 1/8 of the art show that actually does science or science fiction. All the rest of the art show generally nowadays has been dark fantasy and light fantasy.
I had to introduce
and middling fantasy and semi-lit fantasy, zombie fantasy.
And then there's that thing with the mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah, I did the sculpture under influence by like extraterrestrials or something. I thought it was awesome. I do science fiction art and have since 1980. My son was born the first about 6 weeks after the first art show I did, and he's now a stand-up comic. So being raised in fandom warped him. He doesn't know how to hold a real job. Luckily, I'm married to a woman with a good job. So, yeah. Bill's wife is now a doctor.
Yes,
so,
yeah,
both of us are sitting pretty now, waiting for retirement. Bill Hodgson.
Hi, I'm Bill. I started writing professionally, selling to national magazines and whatnot when I was 14. I started illustrating when I was 17. There's an artist on our street who's a graphic artist doing a book on NASA hardware, and couldn't make his deadline. And we were just talking about art. He said, "Well, you want to do some of these?" So my very first published illustration was a cutaway schematic of the NASA version of a T-38. It took like, 5 weeks to do this one drawing. But since then, I've finished like over 1,000 projects. I've done a lot of like romance book covers, games, skin covers, and a lot of writing. mostly nonfiction.
What did you get paid by the NASA guy? Did he give you like
Well,
donuts or something?
Mostly, yeah, and then he gave me some books.
Oh,
He gave me some nice books that were
yes.
not actual money, but he gave me free books that everybody's good.
Yeah.